What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Today is Friday. McFarlane Toys dropped a whole bunch of DC Multiverse figures up for pre order. Not going to break down the Batman animated series with that really odd and weird cell shading, but I am going to talk about the DC Multiverse releases. Today, we saw three pre-orders, something I was very excited about, and just one that was kind of like, if only you had done a different version. But let's take a look at them. These are new additions to the collector series, which I'm not happy about, but I'll get into that in a second. First up is Sinestro. We finally get Green Lantern's arch enemy in figure form. I love the Sinestro core outfit. That's so great. And that, excuse me, that gold and yellow really pops. And it looks really great against that black. That's such a great color scheme for Sinestro. And this head sculpt, this expression is really good, really solid for him. You see his construct, it looks like he's kind of creating some manacles, some handcuffs, whatever. I like the fact that it's not a fully formed construct. I think that's a really good way to go for Sinestro. So I really like that. Here's a shot of the front package. As you can see, it's the McFarlane Collector Edition. I'm going to get into that real soon. Not so much with Sinestro here, but just in general, he comes with his lantern, which is essential for any Green Lantern, Sinestro Corps member, any of the Lantern Corps members in general, basically. So we always need to have that at least with every one of them. Then we've got a construct, and that's something we need for every lantern as well. We get the always helpful, always useful black stand for Sinestro and these flying characters. I really wish they would go back to that old school flying stand where, it wasn't too high in the air, but at least we could simulate some flying poses. I feel like this is getting a little bit overused, especially with characters who fly. I don't care about this with a character like Batman or Flash. That's really helpful. But for characters like Martian Manhunter, Superman, Sinestro, Green Lantern, Kyle Rayner, Hal Jordan, John Stewart, take your pick, they need a flight stand. And that's so helpful. And I don't know why we haven't seen them brought back in rotation in such a long time. So this is him holding the lantern. And again, I really like this head sculpt. I think it's got some nice determination. It looks like he is ready to take on Jordan. Love that. Got the ears pointed just right. His hair's looking a little slick. He's almost looks a little bit too attractive to be Sinestro. It looks a little too movie star poster-esque version. I wish they had done a little bit more exaggeration on that head sculpt, make it a little bit more oblong, kind of get more of that old school look to him. But it's still a great looking Sinestro. You can see the texture on that outfit, as all McFarlane figures have. They very rarely do really plain bucks for these figures. I do like that most of the time, unless of course it's a old school Silver Age or Golden Age costume where all that detail isn't necessary. But this looks really great on Sinestro, and there's just another shot. Some more. Here's another side package shot. Nothing really spectacular. And here's the rear photo shot. So that's Sinestro. Not bad for him. I really think he turned out very nice. What's not so nice is this $29.99 price tag. There's nothing with this figure or any of these collector figures that make it worthwhile to bump up this price tag. So really not a fan of that. Next up, we're going to take a look at Hawkman. And this is from 0 Hours, a really curious choice because I know a lot of people have been clamoring for Hawkman, and this was not the version we wanted. And this is a really odd choice. I know Wave Rider is coming, so there is some symmetry there, some tie-in with another figure, so we can put Hawkman, Wave Rider together. But I don't know who all was really asking for Wave Rider when we still lack so many classic characters or just more popular characters than Wave Rider. He's such an odd choice. We don't have a classic comic book cyborg yet. And or Mr. Terrific, or so many characters, Stargirl, so many characters in the JSA, lots of JLA characters still left. I don't know how 0 Hour Hawkman or Wave Rider jumps the line, but here we go. We got them coming. And there's a front package for him. The wings are detached, as you can see here. This is a really odd choice of cover images, though, because it doesn't really resemble what we've got this figure. Maybe it's just because the cowl is orange and this is more gold, but that's a really interesting choice for that. So you can see his accessories, and kind of disappointing, there's no articulation with these wings. All we've got here are just these pegs that go into his back, and that's all the movement we're going to get. So You'd think for maybe a $30 figure, they could include some articulation in those wings. I mean, this is something that's really an outdated mold where, Toy Biz was doing this with wing figures. And it's really odd that in 2023, we're still getting a wing figure with no articulation. So that's not great. He comes with a mace, and that looks really good. It's got some detailing on that handle, and it makes it look like he won't have any problem holding it. You see the detail on the gauntlet. That's really nice. The harness looks good. Definitely something that can be reused for other Hawkman figures. I like the body itself. It really looks to capture Carter Hall or Qatar Hall's physique very nicely. I think this is a really good mold for him. Not loving this head sculpt, but it's accurate to 0 hours. So my hate there is simply because I don't really care about this era of Hawkman, but a great head sculpt for the 0 hour version of him. The detailing on his belt, the knees, boots, tops are okay. I think the gloves could be a little bit more pronounced because they were a little bit more extreme, but whatever. I think this will help him not be a shelf hog though, because the wings are solidly in place. However, I still think they should have some articulation, some kind of movement. Here's the rear shot of them. They look okay. They've got some paint detail, which is great. It's not just one color. They're not white. There's some wash here. So we got a little bit of gray, a little bit of dark blue. That's great. I love that kind of detail. Hopefully, for the Hawkmen I want to see, we'll see that color scheme incorporated with them as well. I do love the fact that he's got some forearm hair along with that chest hair. So I didn't mention that earlier. But yeah, this is really nice. I love that little attention to detail. This is more of a wilder Hawkman. So we got that incorporated here. Here's a better shot of that handle for the mace. The mace actually has some great detail too. I like the fact that it's a really shiny silver, and the handle definitely seems like something that won't be sliding down his hand or his fist because he can't get a good grip on it. That's really nice to see. And here's another shot of the packaging. And so the boxes look okay. They're big. He's number 5 in this collector edition line. Again, not a fan of that because it's just jacking up the price. But you see here, this is what Hawkman looks like. I'm not really thinking that is the 0 hour version. I feel like this is more of a modern Hawkman from like the JSA era because there's so much here that's different with this version here. We've got this is what he looks like. I didn't see any gauntlet on this arm here. It looks like just a regular wrist pad. And I feel like this is JSA Hawkman, not necessarily 0 hour version of him. But again, he's 30 bucks, and I just don't see the $30 value in this figure. We got some videos, so that's nice to see. And they've got the bios on here. Since the days of World War II, there's always been an imposing figure with majestic wings and a striking bird-shaped helmet, brandishing ancient weaponry, and standing alongside Earth's greatest heroes in its time of need. I'm really hoping just from the mention of that, we get to see a Golden Arrow Hawkman because that would be really great to see in this line incorporated, him showing up, maybe a Hawk Girl. And I want more Golden Age JSA characters. We've kind of got the Flash. We definitely have an Alan Scott Green Lantern. So that's 2 at least. Hawkman wouldn't take a lot of work, a lot of repaint work necessarily, because he's pretty basic, pretty plain with his attire. So, and then I think he's a really easy candidate for a gold label. I'm not sure which one they go with. Would they do the Silver Age Hawkman that hung out with the Justice League of America in the Satellite era days, make him the regular release and do gold label for the Golden Age JSA Hawkman? I don't know. I'd love to see that either way. So then they break down, he's a fierce warrior without equal. The hero known as Hawkman has been a human being trapped in an ancient Egyptian curse of endless death and rebirth, and at other times an alien police officer sent to Earth to help defend it. Sometimes he's even been a combination of both. So the bio is really nice. It breaks down so much of Hawkman, his backstory and all that stuff. I think it's a really nice figure, good base for future Hawkmen to come. And those are the ones that I'm most looking forward to. So we got him coming. And then you can see the rest of these figures. We got this Batman. He's $29.99. I guess the only reason I can go along with that a little bit more is because he is a builder figure. So he's got the parts to Condiment King. Let's see if I can actually open this to a wider window. There we go. I don't like the cell shading though. It's kind of haphazard and kind of all over the place. It's like here's just a dark shadow along his arm. and it's sort of weird from how the way the light would hit it. So that's weird. We got this little thing here on his face. A lot of cell shading. We were very heavy with this, although of course I like that it's black and blue, kind of like how it was in the cartoon and the comic book. But we got too much black going down the side of his leg here, not enough blue. Now I was complaining about that with the DC Multiverse version, but we got some hand sculpts. That's really nice to see. Different hand holding the grapple, the batarang still way too big, and the arms of Condiment King. So that's nice. I guess we're getting another figure out of this. So the $29.99 price point isn't too crazy with him. But let's take a look here. I don't know if I love Robin either. I think he needs some serious work because he's got a really bad and unfortunate paint wash going here. Is like he saw Joker and Joker really made him worried and nervous. So we got this look for him. I think the head sculpt's pretty decent, but yeah, I feel like I'm gonna give you a feedback. These figures are too expensive, Target. But we got him, and here are the different elements to Condiment King. So he's got the pitchfork, I suppose. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that accessory part. Let's see if I can get a better look at all that stuff here. There we go. I guess it's Condiment King's tuning fork. But we got some different elements, some different hand sculpts for Robin. That's good at least. And a really big part of the Build-A-Figure Condiment King. So we got the legs, we got the waist. That's cool. So it's not a big ripoff where you got to put together 8 pieces just to assemble one figure. So we've got him, but again, $29.99 seems excessive for this kind of figure here. And here are the other two, Mr. Freeze. He looks cool. You see, oh boy, that was a terrible pun. Not even intended. Yes, Mr. Freeze always looks cool. So we've got the backpack and the ketchup and mustard guns for Condiment King. Of course, we've got 4 different sets of hands for Mr. Freeze and his freeze gun. His cell shading looks a little bit better than some of the others. And I like this head sculpt expression. So he's probably the gem of this set in terms of just how he turned out, how he looked. And he's got plenty to kind of justify this price point. I feel like for Build-A-Figures, $30 is pushing it, but it could be worse. And so here we go. We've got Scarecrow, the final member. And I love the fact that it only takes 4 figures to build McFarlane Build-A-Figures, or collect to build as you will. Here's a head sculpt for Scarecrow. I don't know. I feel like he's got some interesting non-shading. I mean, they've eased up with him. I'm really worried about how hard he's going to be to stand, because it looks like these upper legs are going to be really hard to support his weight. But we'll see. I like the fact they actually did try to make him look more spindly, more like a Scarecrow than some of these other figures. Only 2 hand sculpts with him, but we do have an unmasked portrait. We got his Sith as well. And Condiment King also has a ton of shading on him. I don't know, the shading just looks a little off with all these figures just because it's so much. Like the pickle head, that's cool. And the expression form is nice. But we get all 4 of them, and so we can get him. But that is what, $30 for per figure. I feel like this is a wave that a lot of people are probably going to wait to get on sale, just because I don't know how many people are really loving the fact that, hey, I got to get this Condiment King figure. So we'll see. But those are them. The last figure, not part of this Target Geek Out sale, was Firestorm. And I was really excited to see him. Not as excited about that $30 price point, because, again, not thinking that is a great value, great deal for these figures. But this definitely looks, this is modeled after Crisis on Infinite Earth. So it looks like Firestorm has a really great, cool body mold. So he's not too big, not too tall. It doesn't look like the Flame. I don't know. I feel like it could be a little bit more extreme, maybe a little bit more black around the eyes, but I think it's a really nice head sculpt for Firestorm. I do think the flames could be a little bit more excessive, but that's just me really, really trying to nitpick. I love the work on this harness piece, but you can see there's going to be some issues with the paint job, because even on a prototype, the paint is flaking off. So that's not a great sign, but I guess it's more accurate probably to what everyone's figure is going to be. But here is more of our collector edition, and this lack of accessories is just really blowing me at this point. I do like the different hand sculpts. They really make sense for him. He's got a little gesturing. deal. So that's fun. He's got some fists, he's got some flying poses, and he's got some explosion parts where I guess it's him forming whatever he's going to form, stopping Killer Frost, turning her ice shards into flowers to daisies. I like the detail on the outfit. I mean, this is what Todd does so great with his figures. They actually look like the comic book when he really tries to do that. So you see, you got the crotch piece here with a lining accurate to the comic book. I wish there were a little bit more flair to the excuse me, to his arms, because that was something I always loved about his attire. This is not from Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was originally solicited for this look, but I don't care. This is classic Firestorm, and I love that. Once again, no flight stand, which would be more helpful than just this regular stand. I don't care about this showcase card section. I don't care about these cards at all. So that didn't do a whole lot for me. The boots have some really nice detail, and you can see they got the tread as well. And then they've got the design, comic book style on that. And I really love how he poses. I think he's going to look really nice next to that Nightfall Batman, Flashpoint Flash, and we'll have to keep him away from Martian Manhunter, but I think they'll work nicely together as well. And I just wish that instead of these explosions, we had more of the signature nuclear man atomic burst hand sculpt accessory part. That's kind of weird they went with this because he's not a fire flaming character. So I don't really love that, but maybe my DC Classics figure will let this one borrow them because those would look cool on this figure as well. So you can see here with this package, it does kind of look like, hey, you guys put more thought, more effort into it. And it looks like these are fiery hand sculpts and not just a carryover. So that's nice. We've got separate hand sculpts with more burst expression pieces. So that's cool. We've got what, 4 again. That's good with the hand sculpts. I still don't think that's $30 worth, but you can see they're actually trying to add some value to these figures. And again, it's a really weird reference shot because that's not from Crisis, but whatever. I mean, it says right here, Firestorm, Wave 2, Crisis on Infinite Earths. This is not an image from Crisis. I just don't understand it. I mean, it's clear George Perez was drawing Firestorm back then. I mean, I'm just so like, hey, let me pull up some George Perez Firestorm art because I just don't quite understand how that got so mistaken with this image. It really doesn't matter. I don't know why I am so worried about that, why it even concerns me, because it does not matter because we got Firestorm. He looks great, but I just kind of feel like they could have done a little bit more in terms of that expression, in terms of maybe having more fiery effects like we get from our guy Firestorm. So just wish that were a little bit different, but this is otherwise fine. And I'm not going to complain about anything where they're trying to go with, hey, this is based on Crisis. So here's, because I just pulled this up really fast, that's a George Perez Firestorm. You see the atomic burst effect. I just wish they had included that and made that flame stand up a little bit higher. You see the real puffy sleeves, not quite what we have with the figure. Again, it's pretty good, but I just wish for $30 we got one that was a bit more realistic, more accurate to that particular comic book look. Crisis, done by George Perez, to really get that full look for him. Here's what he looks like. And again, not a bad looking figure, but just some things that I wish they had tweaked so we could have that definitive version of Firestorm, especially for a $30 figure. Let's talk about this price point. I mean, you guys know I have been hammering hard on Hasbro when they started jumping the prices. Again, I felt $22.99 was okay. I mean, it was a reasonable jump. We'd enjoyed that $19.99 price point for so long, but when they jumped to $22.99, I was like, whoa, what you guys doing? All right, whatever. But then they jumped to $24.99, and then I started getting real picky on my figures. Like, no, this doesn't look right, because they were taking away Build-A-Figure parts. They weren't giving us nearly as many accessories. I mean, it's like, hey, look, we got a fist and an open hand. Woo! But now we're starting to see that with McFarlane, and calling this line Collector's Edition doesn't do anything. Collector's Series, yes, we're getting a little bit more than the traditional McFarlane figure, but I still need more to justify this price point with these figures, I mean, these hands are really great. That's good. A typical McFarlane figure might have swappable hands. Maybe we'll see something like a Barry Allen every so often with, hey, here's his head, his mask down. Here's the regular civilian look for Barry. But that's not what we have here. I kind of wish there was like a stand with a ghostly image of Professor Stein. I would have felt like that made more of a deluxe presentation where it's like, okay, cool. Again, the sleeves being puffy, the flame head being a little higher. I don't mind Firestorm standing taller simply because his flame is up a little bit more than everybody else. The rest of the outfit is dead on. It's good. I really like how it turned out, but those things are kind of glaring to me, and I wish they'd done this accessory piece, that bomb burst, better, because that's just not a signature look of Firestorm in any case whatsoever. I mean, I'm just trying to find something that would go, hey, this is what Firestorm looked like. But I mean, this is Firestorm, and all about the sleeves, the flame higher than what we have with this version. So it's a really interesting choice. And again, this is what you think of with Firestorm's power going in action. That accessory piece that we got with the DC Classics version, and basically every other Firestorm figure. I mean, these were great. I'm just making sure I'm not pushing into some random eBay auction. But I mean, look at cool toy reveal, cool toy reviews, Firestorm effects. Maybe they're gonna be a little bit too small on the McFarlane one, but I'm gonna have to try them out because I really need that version of Firestorm's powers in action. I love the different hand sculpts, and I love the Sinestro has more hand sculpts, more accessories. I love that construct piece. I wish Hawkman's wings were articulated. Love that mace. But I just feel like these are the standard McFarlane quality 7-inch figures that we've gotten all this time that were $19.99, in some cases $22.99. I have no problem with the build a figure pieces being $24.99. They're 7-inch figures, they're not 6 inches. So I don't really quibble too much about those accessories, the differences of a $24.99 Marvel Legend figure. This is a build a figure in most cases versus a McFarlane $24.99 collect to build figure. So I'm really not loving this new trend of let's not do much besides come up with a stand for a card. And I don't feel like many collectors care about in the first place. It's like, yeah, whatever. I got a bunch of mine just sitting at that point in my shelf. So I don't think people care about those. If I'm wrong, let me know because I'd love to hear from you guys. Because y'all are my fellow collectors out there. But there was another figure that got revealed, and I shouldn't say revealed because we knew it was coming, but it was really exciting to see this figure up for pre-order. And this is not a McFarlane offering. This is a Marvel Select Crimson Dynamo. And I'm kind of curious about how this is going to work. That neck piece seems like it might be a little bit higher than I would want. Because I'm looking at this figure to match up with my Iron Man Marvel Legends figure. And here are two official photos. There are more. I'm going to show you those in a second, but these are the two that are up on Entertainment Earth, one of my affiliates, and Big Bad Toy Store. And then marvelousnews.com had some more photos, and these are pretty cool. I love this unmasked head sculpt. That's really good. So if you want to pair them with um your gosh, who we got here? We got Red Guardian, we got Dark Star, we got the Grizzly Bear. Of course, I'm blanking on his name. So we got a little bit more of the Winter Guard, but I really think this looks nice. The Eye Blast coming there. I wish Marvel Select, Diamond Select could show us a Marvel Legends 80th anniversary Iron Man just to see that scale. I'm not so sure if he's going to work because I feel like he might be a little bit too long in the torso, in the legs to really match up properly with the Marvel Legends figures. But it's a nice looking figure. I really hope he's not too big though, because I would love to add him to my collection. He looks good. We got an alternate mask for him too, alternate helmet. That's really nice. And I really, really, really love that unmasked portrait. So yeah, I'm really hoping this figure can scale properly with Marvel Legends, even though it's a Marvel Select figure. I know the deal. But yeah, so here's hoping that figure turns out just fine. It works out okay with Marvel Legends figures. So let me know what you guys think about these McFarlane collector's edition figures. I don't think that they're worth the extra upcharge for figures for a trading card stand. It's not like we can do anything cool or interesting with that with the figures. Just like, dude, I don't care about this trading card stand. I need more accessories. Hands are great. More head sculpts would be even better. That would be great. And a little bit more accuracy if we're going with the extra charge for those figures. And how excited are you to see the Crimson Dynamo figure now up for pre-order? Let me know which ones you are getting, which ones you're pre-ordering, what else you're hoping to see with Target's Geek Out event. Maybe we're going to see that classic Wonder Woman. That would be really awesome because I feel like Sinestro, Firestorm, Black Lightning, 0 Hour Hawkman were all solicited or were all revealed at the same time as that classic Wonder Woman. So hopefully we'll see her over the next couple of weeks. For now, that's it. And I will see you guys very soon. Thank you as always for watching. This episode of Lau's Figure Files has been filed.